Great question came in the other day. Hi, I have a question. Yeah, that's nice. Hi back. I have a question pertaining to biblical counseling and psychiatry. I am currently in medical school, and one field that I may enter is psychiatry, in the hopes of helping people deal with their emotional and mental issues. I came across the CCEF site when I browsed through the Desiring God website of John Piper's ministry. My question is this: is it possible to be able to pursue psychiatry as a vocation while maintaining a strong biblical worldview? I guess I'm asking because if they're not compatible, would you advise me to specialize in another field? So, great question. Here's the short answer. Is it possible to pursue psychiatry as a vocation while maintaining a strong biblical worldview? Yes. This has actually been one of the things that probably surprises a lot of outsiders who don't really understand biblical counseling. But right from the very start in the 1960s, biblical counseling has always viewed psychiatry as potentially an extremely valuable and helpful discipline. And the concern has simply been when psychiatry would tend to become imperialistic and transgress on some of the issues where the church really needs to take the lead. But there has never been an objection to psychiatrists doing what psychiatrists do best, which is being able to have an understanding of the physical. After all, psychiatry is a medical discipline. Someone to be able to bring thoughtful understanding and case experience about the physical component in people's difficulties. In fact, I would probably tweak your question a little bit. In helping people deal with their emotional and mental issues, I'd probably say your psychiatric background can contribute something on what you could call the physical component that may or may not be playing in emotional and mental issues. That's one thing that is a genuine gift. Another genuine gift you can bring is whether it's for good or bad reasons, people will invest authority in you. So if you're someone who's deeply committed to a biblical worldview and who interprets emotional and mental struggles through biblical eyes in a way that you might say, being the best doctor you can be, you weigh rightly the physical component that may be there. Being committed biblically, when you open your mouth to help somebody sort through, you talk like a biblical counselor. It is entirely possible and desirable for psychiatrists to be biblical counselors. It combines two sets of expertise, just as it's great if someone is a lawyer who's a biblical counselor, and someone is a regular doctor and a biblical counselor, or a nurse, and so forth, and so on.
Or a filmmaker.
Or a filmmaker and a biblical counselor, to speak to present company. Moving right along. That said, is it possible is a really good question, because there is a strong pressure in the field to over-medicalize people's problems. So I would make a very strong suggestion that you get a dual education, that you pursue your studies, your medical studies, but make sure that in there is very thoughtful attention to a biblical understanding of the relationship between mind and body. How do you help people with their anxieties, with their anger, their conflicts, their depression, their addictions, in a way that, while seeking to understand possible medical components, always recognizes there is a person here. And when I talk to a person, I'm talking to an image bearer of God. I'm talking to one who sins against God. I'm talking to someone who's redeemable, whose faith and love growing is going to be a critical part of their growth. So, finish your med school studies, take a year off, come study with us, take all the counseling courses, do personal study, read books, read articles, stay current, go to conferences. All that said, you want to go in eyes open for where the genuine goods that psychiatry can accomplish, but where the places where the field itself tends to transgress what would be normal, biblically set boundaries.